right, it is time for the Currently Reading Challenge weekly wrap-up for week number 1. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you how the first week of the Currently Reading Challenge went. If this is new to you, this is a challenge that I put upon myself when I noticed that I'm carrying a little too many books on my Currently Reading, and so I pick 5 by random draw, fiction and nonfiction, and I set the task to read specifically from those books. For this round of the challenge, I'm going for 65 pages a day, 5 days out of the week, and aiming for a total of 325 pages for the week. And I reset the clock every week, and I do a new TBR every week. So this is how week 1 went. And as always, we're going to look through the titles, title by title, starting with the least number of pages read. So with the least number of pages read for this week is, probably no surprise, Outline Alphabets 100 Complete Fonts by Dan X Solo. This is more of an activity than actual reading, and this week I I got through 6 pages, which leaves me 59 left, so I got through all of the E's, and I shall show you the E's. So here we go. I actually feel I learned a lot this week. This first page I did on the first day, and I did it at night, and I was tired, and I was just not quite feeling it. So I learned that it's better to do these earlier in the day. I did also change up the order. Sometimes I did sort of like all of the similar letters together, all of them mostly straight lines, then move to the combination of curved and not curved. And the lowercase, I often do the ones that are the short ones, like the midline. I still don't know what the different, like what the uppers and the lowers are called, but all the ones that take up the small space, all the ones with the lower, and all the ones with the higher together, just because I sort of run out of space. So that's the first one. That's Egyptian 505 outline. And then this one was very, pretty simple. Oh, I had some trouble getting the height. Lots of variety there working on that one. Outline. I might have been tired that day too. Well, this one was very different. I love the M. It's epitaph. Oh, I don't think I spelled it right. Open. Great Y. The T. There was another one that was, oh, the R has a space. That's quite unusual. Oh, this one's very happy and open. And then that's Eris. And, oh, another very, very open one. The S was tough on this one. The S's I still find really hard. They're unlike any other letter. Well, they're a little like a 2. But, so you don't have a lot of practice working with the other letters. Like an E is a lot like an F, right? They're very similar. So every time you do an alphabet, you're working twice as much on E, F shapes than S shapes. And then arrows. That one's actually pretty nice and clear. Working on that S. I actually also decided, okay, I've talked a lot about it, but yeah, so I am really happy with how things went. And I also decided to, if I didn't get it the first time, to try again if I had space, because getting it on the first try is pretty extraordinary. There's nothing wrong with, you know, this one I went with words, i.e. bud, cyan. Anyway, so, oh, that's a pretty good cue. I like that cue. Anyway, so I've been enjoying doing this, and I'm really happy I got 6 letters in. I usually aim for 5, but because now I'm working letter by letter, I've broken down how many are in each letter, and there were 6 E's, and that was strong motivation to get 6, which is 1 more than normal, so I'm happy about that. Yay! So 6 pages of outline alphabets. Okay, next up in terms of page count, I read 54 pages of the Edgar Allan Poe collection, and the amount of pages I have left is 0! I finally finished this one. I think it's come up in each round of the Currently Reading Challenge. It is an extremely slow read for me. I had 1 essay, 1 work that I'm not sure if it was fiction or not fiction, 1 story, and then the poetry, which I had already read. And so I broke it out to leave the poetry for the end. And so I read sort of like the last one which was about, what was it called? The philosophy of composition. That was pretty interesting, but this was just really challenging to read in this format. There really isn't a lot of like, I actually used my bookmark as to do this because my eyes would not follow it. I'm actually really surprised to say that there were less stories in here than I expected to enjoy. There were lots of stories in here. I just didn't enjoy as many as I thought I would. I also didn't remember a lot of them. I would say if I read 5, maybe 1 or 2 really caught my attention. So it was a tough read. It was way tougher than I thought it would be. It took me a lot longer. I started it last April, right before the first currently reading challenge, but I did make it all the way through. I am a little stumped though, because for both my sci-fi, fantasy, and weird and my those books exploration challenges, there is an Edgar Allan Poe like entry on them. One of is the complete works and one is the portable Poe, and they're both a lot more than this, and I can't figure out how to, like, if I can't figure out, I feel like I'm partially complete with those challenges. That's a separate challenge than this challenge, but like other books, it's like, you know, whatever, like read, I can't think of anything. What Flowers in the Attic is on those books list, I think. Anyway, I've already read that. You know, that was easy. You know, that was easy because I had already read it. But anyway, so with this one, I can't figure out what to do next. Should I find out what the summaries are or what's included in those other collections? Should I read another collection? When do I count that challenge done? So I don't need to decide that right away, but it was a bit of a, like, I'm excited because I finished this title and it was challenging and I brought it forward from last year, and to get something done is always good, but I also feel incomplete on the other challenge. So that's one of the reasons why I try not to have competing priorities, is because even when you finish something, you feel like unresolved, and I don't like that. So anyway, so I might just keep reading other Poe stuff. I just wish I enjoyed it more. I just don't. I do have a Kindle copy, but I don't know of a collection, but I don't know how many different works. Often I read the stories on Kindle if they were available, and it was much easier. Anyway, I'm thrilled to be done. I didn't mean to, see, that's why having competing priorities doesn't work, because even when you are even when you're done, it feels like, so I should be happy, and I am happy. And I did finish it, and it was a tough one, but I did finish it. I just wish I enjoyed it more. I think, the spectacles. Once I understood some of them were hoaxes, knowing what genre it was often helpful, so I did make a list. But it required more work. It required more work than I expected, but I did finish it in the end, so yay! Next up, at 85 pages read, I read Comics Confidential, 13 graphic novelists that talk storycraft and life outside the box. I almost got that backwards. This is compiled and edited by Leonard S. Marcus. So I only had 3. This is interview style. So it's interviews with comic book artists, and then there's also like a short comic included for each of the artists. So I had 3 left, and I read all 3. Yay! 85 pages read from this one, and I have 0 left. So another one finished. Thrilled about that. This was an extra pick last week because I had a problem title, and I'm really, really happy that I added it into the mix because there were only 3 interviews. I split them out throughout the week, so I didn't read them every day, which was a challenge because it was a much lighter, nicer type of read for me. I love reading nonfiction art books. I love reading memoirs by artists. So this is like interviews with artists about how they came to comics, how they feel like the industry has changed over the years, and this kind of thing. And they're all different kinds of comics book artists as well. So some people do more memoir stuff, some people do kids stuff. Like, it's all like people that have been doing this for quite some time and people that are relatively new. So it was a really nice I felt like it was a really nice collection of interviews. A lot of people referred to a lot of the same works, and there's a couple that I have not read yet. So there may be another challenge in the mix. I didn't mean to say that. I did find a book about the 100 comics you must read or something like that. So I'm considering maybe doing a challenge. Not now. I'm doing this challenge right now. That was great. It was great to get another finish in. Although pages are the focus. Once I get to less than 100, those are both less than 154 and 85. So that's definitely, I know now that's my all systems go target. But for the next most pages read, I read 118 pages of Battle Royale by Koshan Takami, translated by Yuji Oniki, and I have 392 pages left. So this is a big book. This is 608 pages. There's some interviews at the end, but I will read them, so I'm including them. This is a big book. This has been a challenge. This is, if you're unfamiliar with it, I think it's, it's kind of like, it's a sort of Hunger Games situation. I actually don't know. I think they came out around the same time. And I was actually surprised. I was really surprised at how much. I haven't read this. I read this mostly last summer and then a little bit at the end of last year just to finish the first section. So I read a good chunk of the second section. So there's not tons of sections here. There's tons of chapters, which I really like, lots of short chapters. But yeah, I thought this, I found it compelling. I really got right back into the story. I don't remember who all the characters are, so that's a challenge from taking some time off. I think I might have written them down somewhere, but I forgot to put it with the book because I was reading it from the library, and then I bought it because there's no e-copy I can find available. So anyway, so yeah, so this has been quite compelling, and there's more going on, and it's quite intriguing. I'm actually a little nervous about putting this aside. I think it would be a good one to stick with it because it is sort of a thriller type story, right? So it's very fast paced. There's lots of danger. The kids are, starting to. I don't want to spoil it. So, but more engaging than I expected. Remembered more than I expected. My reading pace was way faster this time around than it was last summer, and I think I attribute that to continuing to read challenging works, like the Edgar Allan Poe. I don't get everything, but it's working my brain, right? Like I'm trying so hard. So although I didn't retain everything in that, it helped me in understanding this better, which is one of the reasons why I persist on reading things even if I don't understand them, or reading things outside my comfort zone, because it all comes back to being able to, just for me, what am I trying to say? It helps me process other things. So I understood this better, and it was more enjoyable this time around, and I think that comes from just working at trying to read more things. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so I'm a little nervous about putting this one aside. I was even kind of considering, should I just carry it over, but that's not the spirit of the challenge. So if it comes up, it comes up, great. If not, some other time. I'm now under 400 pages left, which is great. I think that's an amount that I could read in a month. So that puts it in good standing for if I want to tackle it later in the year. We'll see what happens. So that leaves one book left, sort of. But then next most pages I read 159 pages of Harriet the Spy. This is by Louise Fitzhugh, and I have 0 pages left. I can't believe it. 3 finishes in the first week. I am just so surprised. So this one, I actually have to say this, I'll defer to my Goodreads review on this one because this video is already quite long, but I didn't love it as much as I thought I would, and I actually decided to finish it because I wasn't enjoying it that much, and I was worried about not coming back to it, and I literally worried about Harriet. I really felt for her. This is a kid's book. I thought it would be a mystery. It's not a mystery. It's very much a contemporary sort of early coming of age, not coming of age. Like there's sort of different kinds of coming of age, but she has comes across some challenges and conflicts and stuff like that. And I am not sure how I feel about how they were resolved or how they went down, and she goes through some challenging things. She also does some things that aren't very nice. So I am not sure how I feel about all of that. I do have to acknowledge that this was written in the 60s, so there are some outdated ideas and terms and things like that, but still philosophically I don't feel resolved in understanding what or if it was saying something, like if there was a moral of the story. And I feel like with kids books often there is, and the fact that I'm an adult and I missed it makes me wonder. But I don't know, I don't need the moral of the story. Maybe there isn't one, I'm not sure. This is a very zeitgeist title, and but I don't know. know, I feel unresolved on that one. So maybe I should read some reviews on it. And because I just, like, I understood what happened, but I really felt like, you know, I just wish Harriet had some more support. And I might actually continue reading the series because I'm curious to see where it goes. And I do like Harriet. I love how she journals. I love how she's so curious about the world. She does spy on people, though. She does, like, literally go into people's houses and hide and listen. So, like, that's not... kind of shouldn't be doing that. Like, so, I don't... But I loved her drive, but I felt like she didn't have tons of support. So maybe that's something that is speaking to you. I'm not sure. But I did finish it. So I am very, very happy about that. So if you do all of the math all together, that ends up being a total of 422 pages. So I totally met my page count goal, which is 325 pages. I exceeded it by 97 pages. So I'm very, very happy with that. I did also this week, one of my goals is to continue to read Les Miserables, even if it isn't picked, and read 25 pages a week. And I got 37 pages in. So I'm very happy about that. And my bonus read this week was Hedda Gabler by Ibsen, which was a reread for me. Really enjoyed it. I am thrilled that I found that film version because it really helps center some of the characters and the motivations, not only Hedda, but Judge and I don't know how to say his name, Elar, yeah, which were not that, didn't make a very strong impression on me on first read, but when I saw the film production, very different roles and it was a lot more concreted, the idea. Of course, it's a play and it's interpretive, and especially secondary characters can be played in different ways, but it really firmed up. And actually, I've been thinking about that film a lot, and I already want to rewatch it. It is a bit, it is a bit arty, but I don't mind. I do not mind that at all. So, but that was a great read, and it was only 4 acts. It was 88 pages, so it wasn't too bad to fit it in. So we can take a look and see how my daily totals went. So I actually did pretty well. This column is for the activity, so if I did the alphabets. So I think I did pretty well. 70, 65, 68, 81, and then that last day, 138 and the stars. The stars mark if I finished a work. So that last day, I just tucked in and just finished. So, and that's where I got my 422. But the thing is, after that, on Friday and Saturday, I didn't read from my currently reading at all. I felt like with 3 finishes, and Battle Royale was at a pretty good spot, and I had done my alphabets. So I was kind of like done. And that's not happened before. Usually I try and continue reading. I did read some other stuff. So I have a separate column, so this is for currently reading, so this is like Les Mis, and if I decide to read any other stuff. So I actually did read a fair amount there. And then on this side, I have sort of everything else, and I split it into buddy reads, visual, kids, and everything else. And so I actually read 869, is that what it says? Yeah, pages from other works. So that's actually a pretty good reading week overall. Oh, and there was one other thing, because I had 6 selections this week. I had an additional one, which was All Creatures Great and Small by James Herriot, and this was my problem title that I had to deal with this week. And this was, so this is an audiobook bind-up of the first 2 books in the All Creatures Great and Small series, but specifically the one narrated by Nicholas Ralph, who plays the character of Harriet in the TV show. I had started this last year, and I had listened to it for a day, and I listened to it on Scribd, and then it was gone. And it hasn't come back since. And there are other audiobooks, but they're not narrated by the actor who plays the character in the show. So I did have a look around. It is available on Google Play for purchase, but it's like on sale at like $34. I'm like, wow. And I think, honestly, audiobooks, the amount of production that goes to audiobooks is a lot. Like, it makes sense that it's more than the book, because you're having an actor hired or a narrator hired, and then all of the production involved. It is a production. So I understand why they're more expensive, but I couldn't go there. But I did find, and I'm really happy to say this, I did find that the library, the physical library, has something called a Ready Player. And it looks like, I've heard this described by Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books. She has described something called a Playaway. And it looks like a device, like a small MP3 player that just has the title. From the image on the library thingy, that's what it looks like. It looks like it's an actual physical thing that you check out from the library, and you plug in your headphones and you listen to it that way. So the physical library has it. So in this particular edition, so this summer when I go to the library, I will check it out and try and listen to it that way. I'm a little nervous because it is a 15-hour audiobook, and I do not listen to audio all that much, but there were a fair amount of copies and no holds that I could see. So I think I can not only check it out, but probably renew it. So it might take a few goes. So I'm excited. So that is the decision. And with the problem titles, the main thing I need to do is make a decision on approach. What am I going to do with this? I started this title. Am I going to finish it? Am I going to get back to it? Am I going to DNF it? Am I going to, whatever. So what I'm going to do, the decision has been made. I'm going to get that from the physical library in the summer and do my best to listen to the 15-hour audiobook. Oh my gosh. I usually listen to maybe half hour of audio a week. So it'll, I don't know. I'll try and figure it out. I also, I love the TV show. So I'm really looking forward to listening to it. It was such a joy when I found it. And then it was gone. So anyway, so that I think is that everything. So also just I do post on Instagram and on Saturdays how my week went, and I'm really thrilled to say that this week my currently reading went from, now I build it up throughout the week, like every individual story I read from Edgar Allan Poe or any comic I read, I put on individually on Goodreads, and then on Saturday I clear them all off. So that's how my Goodreads weeks go. And so this week I got up to 40, but after I finished and everything, I got down to 27. I am thrilled about this, especially since the previous week I went from 43 to 30. So I think the currently reading project really needs to happen when I get into the 30s. And now that it's happened, I'm already back into the 20s, the high 20s, but still the 20s. So yeah, I got from 40 to 27. I feel really good about that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how things go. I'm very curious to see what I pick for the week. That will already have been updated. I'm posting TBRs on Sundays and then wrap-ups on Monday. However, this following Monday, the wrap-up will be on a different day. I'm not sure exactly when. It'll depend on how things go. I got a little messy. I'm just not sure. It won't be Monday, that's for sure. But I'm not sure when my next wrap-up will be. But there will be a TBR on Sunday per usual, and then hopefully the wrap-up will be, in the near future after that. So anyway, I'm feeling really good about this. I feel like week 1 went really well. Week 2 has a bit more challenges in it, but week 1 I had a fair amount of time, so I am thrilled. But we're resetting the clock to 0, or the counter to 0. I'll be picking 5 new titles. I have no idea where things are going to go, but we will see. You will already probably have seen. So thank you so much for watching. I'm feeling good about the week so far, or the project so far, and 422 pages and 3 finishes. It's looking good. Okay, thank you so much for watching.